What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Well, the day has arrived. James Gunn has made his DC Slate announcement, and I'm really excited to talk about it here. There was a couple ways I thought about going into this video. I have some notes from the announcement. I've already watched it once. I've been thinking about it all day, but I think the best way to kind of handle this video is to actually pull up James Gunn's video and kind of go beat for beat after each of the announcements that he makes and give you my kind of 2 cents on it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's dive right into that right now.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn.
Hey James Gunn.
I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time.
Certainly has.
It's one of our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation.
The gaming part's
Characters
interesting.
are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter.
All right, so right there, that's the first thing I want to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is the Elseworlds announcement. Obviously, Matt Reeves' The Batman was very well received. It made a lot of money. Todd Phillips' Joker, same thing. Those movies were always going to be standalone movies that didn't connect to the greater DC universe. Even if it was the old universe, it still wasn't going to do that. They were always wanting to be their own thing. Matt Reeves said he wanted to make his own thing. It was never going to be connected. They were always going to have to do something like an Elseworld story here. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's actually pretty amazing if you think about it, because that just means that down the line, that you could put, like, if a director or an actor doesn't want to commit to a multi-film deal, but they have a really great idea or a really good take on a character, you can get a pretty sick standalone movie with these actors slash directors now, because they're not afraid to be committed to a trilogy or what have you. You know, you can just be like, I have a really awesome take on I don't know, Killer Croc, and I want to do a Killer Croc movie, and you can just direct it if you got it. That's and Killer Croc's a terrible example. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's pretty sweet, and it's obviously great news, because I don't want any messing with Matt Reeves' Batman whatsoever. Todd Phillips' sequel to Joker seems like it's going to be at least really weird, and I'm definitely going to check it out. But yeah, I'm really excited that they're going to go the Elseworlds route, which is really comically cool anyway. So let's dive back into it.
And I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam! Has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that resets the entire DC universe. And then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects.
So here, I'm going to keep doing this. I hope this video works. I've never done a video quite like this, but so obviously talking about the slate of current DC movies that are coming out this year, ones that were pre-made by the old regime. James Gunn had to take that over. Obviously, he inherited those projects. So starting off with Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Zachary Levi has made a lot of things telling people not to get upset with James Gunn over, where the DC's going. A lot of speculation has gone into that, well, perhaps Shazam is safe from the chopping block, which I myself have said in multiple videos he might be. James Gunn didn't quite confirm that, as much as he said that, that he was kind of always in his own corner by himself in this DC world universe thus far. So it kind of hints that he is safe, and that Zachary Levi's character as, or portrayal of Shazam is safe, and potentially will move forward into the new DC slate. The next thing he says is the most crucial thing that he said in regards to these other projects. And that is that The Flash, which is a fantastic movie by all accounts from every single person on the planet that has seen it anyways, he said that it is going to restart this whole universe. So I kind of expected it to be like a Flashpoint story, and it is, and it seems like they're really leaning in with reshoots and whatnot, at least the rumors are saying, that they're leaning in to make this a absolutely reboot of the DC universe moving forward. And what a way to do it. In the comics, you do a Flashpoint to boost into the new 52 storyline, and it seems like that's exactly what they're doing here to try and get the DC universe off and running. You use Flashpoint to do it, so clearly the Flash movie is going to be Flashpoint of some kind. Which characters come over or not, whether Zach Levi comes over, whether Aquaman comes over, we don't know. He did say that Aquaman 2 leads right into this first slate of new DC content that he's making. So does that mean that is the reason that Jason Momoa has been so excited lately because he knows his character's safe and is coming back over as Aquaman? I put my hat in the Lobo ring more than anything, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is going to reprise his role as Arthur Curry in the new DCU as well. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. And then obviously he touched on Blue Beetle a little bit. Blue Beetle has, it's been filmed, but it hasn't been released yet, so it really doesn't have any tie-ins to the old DC universe. And if it does, there's plenty of time to get those kind of taken out with some reshoots before it launches. So again, another standalone thing that could just live in the new DC universe. So now we're going to move on to the new DC slate of material here, and this is great announcements coming. Great announcements coming.
Which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios
8 to 10 year plan
in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods
and Monsters, baby.
Now, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action.
So Creature Commandos, this is an interesting one. I've never read any comics with Creature Commandos. I don't know the first thing about it. The image that he's pulled up here obviously is from his animation, I think. I don't think that's existing comic image. It could be, but that's really interesting. It seems like it's a pretty cool show. From what I know about them, at least in the iteration, at least the most popular iteration, was they were assembled to fight the Nazis, which is pretty cool if that's the storyline he's going to tell. I don't know that that's it, but to see these like kind of classic monsters used as heroes in a world, and the one guy in the image that's like a normal looking dude, that's supposedly Rick Flag from the Suicide Squad's either grandfather or father or something like that. So I don't know, it's pretty freaking cool. Definitely an animated project I'm gonna check out. So let's keep going.
The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Okay. They're coming a lot quicker now. So Waller. Obviously, James Gunn has said that Peacemaker Season 2 kind of put on hold while he was really focusing on an announcement he's going to make in a minute. He's been preoccupied. But so the Waller show is going to take a lot of the characters from Peacemaker and kind of carry him into that show. Again, he didn't give much detail here other than Viola Davis is coming back and that the cast members of Peacemaker will be in that. Does that mean John Cena as Peacemaker? I don't know. But at the very least, I would assume that her daughter will be back in it, and maybe James Gunn's wife, who played the blonde agent whose name I cannot remember, but Hardcore or whatever her name is, Hardcore. It's Hardcore. She'll probably be in it too. Maybe the whole team except for John Cena, but then maybe even John Cena will be in it. I don't know, but it seems like it's a pretty cool idea. Viola Davis obviously coming back over. That's a direct cross from the old DC guard back to the new one. So whatever happens in Flashpoint, she obviously doesn't get changed. No facial changes there. So I don't know, but that's it. That's all I know about Waller.
Okay. Next up is the big one, the true beginning of
the
DCU.
One. Beginning of the DCU.
This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me.
Superman
I'm in the middle
Legacy.
of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025.
Superman Legacy. Okay. Don't love the name. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't love the name. Not one of my favorites. But I like what he said about it. It's a big one. He's excited about the project. He's personally writing it. That's why he hasn't been able to do Peacemaker season 2 yet. And I don't know. I'm excited for a new take on Superman. I am. From what I've read, it is a take that is going to kind of give you Superman in all his glory. His, the symbol of hope that the world needs in a time where maybe the world doesn't even believe in hope like that as much. He's supposed to be like that symbolistic hero. They're obviously going for a younger Superman, they said. So whether they said he's going to be pre-established, so it's not going to be an origin story for the character. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for his take on Superman. Real excited to see what the casting choice is. It's a big movie. Comes out July 2025. That is, let me get that date right. It's July 2025. Yep, July 2025. So a little over 2 years away from Peacemaker, from Superman Legacy coming out. I'm excited to check it out. I mean, that's going to be a big movie. So rumor is that they're trying to get James Gunn to direct it too. Whether he does, he is writing it. I don't know. He'll probably end up helming that one. I can't imagine you just don't want to do a Superman movie, but maybe you don't. Maybe he's creatively pulled in too many directions. He doesn't want to do it, but who knows? Can't wait for that casting, though.
Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called
Lanterns, baby.
Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
A few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of
True Detective
Green Lanterns
with a
who are
couple
space
detectives
cops watching
with
over
the Green Lanterns.
Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the
Okay.
DC.
This one's really cool. This is there was that Greg Berlanti, I think it was Greg Berlanti helmed Lantern Corps movie or show that he was trying to make for HBO, and it got canceled in lieu of this one, which, I mean, you had me at Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, buddy cop, True Detective story. He didn't say buddy cop, but a gritty detective, like akin to a True Detective story. That sounds fucking awesome. And the fact that he says it ties directly into the bigger story of the DC universe that they're building, that leads me to believe that whatever they investigate is going to be just a little piece of whatever to quote Marvel a bit, whatever little piece of the Infinity Saga was, whatever the big bad is, it'll be pulled in. Who knows, whatever the first arc of this new Justice League that they're going to be building eventually, whether it's they're investigating a missing colony, maybe taken by Brainiac. That's what I assume it is. I assume that's what it's going to build into, and obviously you're probably not going to get Brainiac in as the villain at the end of the Green Lantern show, but, I can't imagine there's a Brainiac drone or a Brainiac henchman out there that they could just write in, it would be fine. But that's my theory there. I think that the Green Lantern TV series, or Lanterns, is going to be Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, investigating a missing colony or a missing planet or city taken by Brainiac, and that will be your Justice League threat for whenever they get around to making their first Justice League movie. It'll all tie together. That's what I'm saying right here. You can quote me on it.
Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine.
The Authority.
It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters.
These are characters I know nothing about other than the Midnighter, who I think was the bad guy in a Dick Grayson, or Agent Grayson. Is it Agent Grayson? Is that the name of that comic series that I read? But
I think it's a very different look at
Midnighter was a
superheroes.
bad guy in that one. He's
We're
like
doing
supposed to
a
be like the
television
Batman of the
series
authorities.
called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually
Paradise
known
Lost.
as Themyscira, which is the birthplace.
This is going to be a
of Wonder Woman.
prequel series to Wonder Woman, where she's going to be probably not in it till the very end or whatever, but it's gonna. They're saying it's gonna be a lot like a Game of Thrones set at Themyscira prequel to Wonder Woman. So that will lead into whoever the new Wonder Woman is, if they're not going to go the Gal Gadot route. So or Gal Gadot route. But this looks good too.
The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave
This
and
is
the
good.
Bold is the
The
story
Brave
of
and the Bold.
Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's
Damian Wayne.
great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU.
That's very interesting. So I'm going to take the headphones off for that one. Kind of went over the last two a little quicker. But The Brave and the Bold, you're getting your first Robin since Chris O'Donnell, and it's going to be Damian Wayne, Batman's legitimate son, or illegitimate son, I guess. And he's an assassin raised by Ra's al Ghul and the daughter of Talia al Ghul and Batman. And that is really interesting. He is a very popular Robin character right now. He's not easy for Batman to handle. He's not like your standard Dick Grayson or Tim Drake or anything like that. But what really gets me cool, what I'm really excited about for this announcement is that he said it kind of starts off your Bat family in a way. That to me seems like he's kind of already telling you that the rest of those characters are going to be in this world. I mean, you can't just have Damian Wayne in here if you don't have Dick Grayson off being Nightwing in Bloodhaven. You can't have, Tim Drake should be kicking around being Red Robin at this point. And honestly, I don't know if Jason Todd is going to be alive or dead. You know, he could be well dead and comes up as Red Hood as a villain in this movie even. I don't know, but the fact that they're going to Damian Wayne first, it really, I just am so excited about that because the fact that you're going to have all of these pre-established rogues, right? Because they're jumping in at this point of Batman's career, but the pre-established Bat family living in Gotham and Bloodhaven and the sister cities and stuff like that, doing. I wanted to see live action versions of these characters for years, so I'm really excited about this. And honestly, I was on the fence because I love the Batman and I don't want to muddy the waters too much. And I know I can separate the fact that there will be a that there will be the Elseworld stories for the Batman. But still, I was like, the average film viewer might not love that there's going to be another Batman, and maybe they won't. But for me, the fact that they're going to this timeline of Batman, where all the other, Robins he's trained are out fighting crime on their own, and it's a fully fleshed out, like, comic accurate Gotham, I'm really excited about that. This is great news. Great news.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular
Booster
cult
Gold.
heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses
I love that James Gunn
future
calls him a
technology
loser from the
to
future.
come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series.
Okay. So Booster Gold. Booster Gold's going to be an interesting series. People have made jokes already that Chris Pratt's done doing Guardians of the Galaxy. He could easily be Booster Gold because that's almost like Chris Pratt is Booster Gold. He acts like him, he talks like him, and I don't know. I think that would probably be an okay casting and probably get that series a lot of eyes on it because I love him or hate him, Chris Pratt at least can bring in an audience. So I don't know. I think this is a great news and again, I'm speculating here. We don't know who Booster Gold's going to be. I actually saw someone say that Zac Efron would make a good Booster Gold too, and I agree with that too. He'd be great casting. He can do comedy, which is this series is definitely going to lean into the comedy. I mean, literally a man from the future who comes back because he's a loser in his own time, uses the tech from the future to be a superhero in the past. Comedy writes itself. Really does. Let's keep going.
My favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent
Supergirl,
to Earth
Woman of
and
Tomorrow.
raised by loving parents. Whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character.
Okay. So there's one more announcement after this one, but let's talk about this really quick. I have never read this run of Supergirl, but what I've checked up on since this announcement is that this is a very interesting comic run where you expect the DC to kind of lean into the darkness a little bit, but it really leans into the duality between Clark getting raised on like a farm with loving parents versus this life that Kara has had to do for herself, where she is been, like he said, raised on a chunk of Krypton. He literally means a piece of the planet which is been floating in the destruction, and she was raised on that while a lot of people around her have died before she gets a ship to get sent off into space, as far as I can tell from what I've double checked on this comic. It seems like it's really dark, and it's going to make her an interesting character, very different from Clark. So I'm all for it. I just want to know what the casting is going to be for that. Because, I mean, if they're going based directly on the imagery, the actress who's in The Flash doesn't quite fit that build of how Kara's supposed to look. I don't know who they might cast in that role instead, but I think it looks pretty cool. And I'm interested to see what's going to come with that. This last announcement is something I'm so excited for. I can't even begin to tell you. Let's see what it is.
And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about.
Swamp Thing.
Very dark story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now.
Oh, man.
I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
All right, James. Thank you. Thank you, James. Okay. All right, so let's dive into the Swamp Thing news. I love Swamp Thing. I love the original movies from the 80s. They were so bad, and they're just that perfect level of cheese that I love. I loved the animated show that was short-lived in the early 90s. The action figures for Swamp Thing, I believe it was the Mattel toy line when I was a kid, they were the best. Like, the best. They were sick. They, there was one of them that changed color when you put it in cold or hot water. One of them had, limbs that grew like the tree. And then there was one that I had that I loved where if you pressed a button, the ropes inside his body that connected his arms and legs would go off, like he got discombobulated, and then you press the button and he comes back together because it was amazing. The bad guys were a little weak. They just came with stupid little finger puppets for their heads. But I love Swamp Thing. I think I didn't check out the last series they did a few years back. Honestly, nobody did. That's probably why they canceled it so quickly. But I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I don't know if that was any good. It was getting negative reviews pretty hard, and that kind of informed me not to see it, which I shouldn't have let it do that. I should have just watched it on my own. Maybe I'll go back and check it after this, but I love Swamp Thing. I think it's a character that has enormous potential, and if from another source that I read, they're going to lean into the horror elements pretty hard with this, which is amazing. I mean, to have the characters that are going to be going up against Swamp Thing in this, the just all the disgusting people that live in that swamp that poison it, and I imagine there's going to be I imagine you're going to see Swamp Thing killing some serious fucking polluters and, disgusting people down in the swamp. So I think it looks awesome. I cannot wait. I can't believe they're doing another Swamp Thing movie. It's incredible. If I had to hit my top list here, though, guys, things I'm the most excited about, let me pull up my list here. I got it on paper. Can you believe that? Definitely the fact that they're getting, and he didn't really announce this, but I picked it up after, the Batman Part 2 is going to be dropped in October 2025. I'm most excited for that. I'm most excited for Superman Legacy 2025 as well. It's going to be a good year, 2025. I'm very excited for The Brave and the Bold. They don't have a release date for that yet. Swamp Thing for sure, and I'd say Lanterns. I'm most excited for the Lanterns too. So I don't know, that all of those things sound really great to me. I love that this announcement kind of has a little bit of everything. You know, he's kind of all over the map. He's not just hitting you with the blueprint, like here's Superman, here's Batman, here's Wonder Woman, here's Cyborg. Like, he's not just like laying out your DC like high characters to get to Justice League. He's taking some chances here with a lot of this stuff. And we're gonna have to wait and see if it pays off for him. I'm excited for this list. I thought it was going to be a lot smaller. I really thought this announcement was just going to be, we have Superman, we're going to do Elseworlds for these other projects, and maybe like one or two other, Peacemaker Season 2 or something like that. I figured we were going to get maybe like 5 items dropped, and he dropped like 10 different things. But the question is for you guys, what are you most excited about from this DC Slate announcement? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll come at you with more content as I come to it. Thanks.